OMG, baby, tell them.
Hey there, welcome to Powered by Backers. Today is a great day. I am joined here by Leslie Mckeown, and I am thankful to have you here. And it's late in the evening on a Friday, and we're both working. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for helping out.
Of course.
Leslie is our bookkeeping and accounting, so Full Prism Group. They are our bookkeeping and accounting firm, sort of bookkeeping more so. And so we've just been preparing our financial statements to go out along with our latest round of financing for backers on the Backers platform. So very exciting, Leslie. So thank you for staying up. It is your birthday, so happy birthday to you. I feel like, and it's a Friday, so you're gonna have maybe a few shots tonight on us. What's your shot if you did a shot?
I don't even know right now. Banana Jacks was a favorite back in the university days.
Okay.
Lots of Jaeger bombs.
I was just gonna say mine's. I probably shouldn't tell anyone this, but I love Jaeger bombs as I look over to everyone looking over here. But yes, I love myself a couple of Jaeger bombs.
Used to do basically anything mixed with Red Bull was always a big thing.
Yeah.
Right. There was I don't know.
So where did you go to school? I said I'd ask off air, ask the question. So where did you go to university? You've got quite this story to kind of, multiple. So tell us that story. We'll start off with that.
I started off at McMaster University, which is where my mom did her MBA.
Okay.
So my mom, when I was applying to school, was kind of like really pushed for either McMaster or Queens. That was like two top picks. I really wanted to go to Dalhousie. I love the East Coast.
Oh yeah.
The East Coast. And my parents were very adamant that I stay closer to home. They were a little bit nervous about me going that far away. So I went to Mac. I hated it. I actually started off with a Bachelor of Science, decided that I did not want to be a doctor.
Right.
The blood, guts, and gore was not my thing.
Not your cup of blood tea. No way.
So it was a huge campus. I went to a small private school, so it was just a really hard transition for me. So my second and third year, I ended up going out to Memorial in St. John's.
Okay.
Just with the way.
So they didn't want you to go to Dell, so you went all the way to Newfoundland. You're like, that wasn't far enough. Let's go even further. Yeah.
Well, my mom jokes all the time about how she should have just said yes to Dalhousie.
Said yes to Dalhousie. Yeah, exactly. Then you'd be at least sort of a drive away, right? But yeah.
There was a ferry in between. And then after 2 years in Newfoundland, and it's snowing from literally October until April, I decided that I was going.
I'm going to make a comment. So you live in Calgary now. I just saw another person I know from Calgary post something that I thought was kind of funny. And it's from today, to a post today. Will it rain or will it snow? We're from Calgary, you never know, or something along that. And it was like a cat in a hat rhyme, right? So Newfoundland's probably similar to that, right? It's like, literally it's September, right? It shouldn't be snowing.
Well, Newfoundland is like it's always between like 20 degrees and like -10, and that's your range, and it kind of never really goes in between that, and it's just like this very wet, damp winter,
right?
Because it hovers around that 0 degrees, it just
snows a lot. Yeah.
Whereas here it's like it can be +30 one day and it can be
minus well, it can also be minus like 80 in Calgary, or I know Winnipeg gets probably colder, -40. I'll give them, but definitely Newfoundland, I've heard, it snows. Obviously it's an island, or so it's surrounded by water. You've got that sort of cooler around 0 temperature. So you get a lot of precipitation, a lot of snow. Interesting.
It's just warm when you're out doing stuff.
Well, it's sort of a damp cold, right? This is interesting. Our show's turned into the Weather Channel. So, and on BC, the complete opposite. It's more of like a temperate rain, no snow, just always rainy, right? So interesting.
They get similar to Toronto. Whereas out here, it's like if it's 30 degrees, it's 30 degrees. There's no humidity.
Right.
But to that end, we were camping on the weekend, and we left a night early, but we had friends that stayed, and they got 8 centimeters of snow at the campsite.
This past weekend, so Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend.
Wow, interesting.
But I'm going to the river after this to go float. in my bathing suit because it's 30 degrees outside.
So within a week, it's gone from 8 centimeters to 30-degree weather. Awesome. Well, enjoy. So, let's not keep you. So tell us. So you went from Newfoundland, then you ended up back in Toronto. I understand.
Back in Toronto, and I went to Ryerson.
So you finished up Ryerson. So let's talk about. And then you wanted to get into accounting. Didn't really. I don't want to answer for you, but so let's talk about accounting and then how you started. I'm going to say the name if it's still allowed to be said. The Savvy Redhead, which is how we connected initially. Maybe a year and a half ago, sometime, maybe about a year ago, sort of summer of last year, sort of connected on sort of the bookkeeping and a couple of different things. So tell us what brought you to that point, and then tell us a little bit about the Full Prism Group. And we had your significant other on here, Brent, not too long ago, talking more about sales and marketing. And I think we had about an hour-long talk. So one of our highest rated videos to date. So tell us about the Savvy Redhead.
Yeah.
Who is the Savvy Redhead?
So it's not very red right now, I have to say.
I was gonna say you've pulled it back. I remember the first time I was like, oh, I get the brand, the name, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do have red jewelry on. I got new earrings for my birthday. Brent got them for me, so I'm wearing those. Those are red. But yeah, so I am a natural redhead. My nickname in elementary school is Carrot Top. So I
was what?
Carrot Top.
Oh, Carrot Top. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Cool. My hair was very red.
Yes.
So there is that. So that's kind of how that name came about. But growing up, my parents owned a restaurant. So I kind of grew up in this world where after school, we went to the restaurant, had dinner. I remember I would see people at the restaurant and they would get upset because they wanted a booth and I sat them at a table or something. I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I got upset that they wanted a different table. So I slammed the menus down on the table and stormed off all upset. And somehow I got a tip. So it all
probably they felt bad. They're like, yeah, we were kind of rude to a 7-year-old. That's a little much. I mean, I know people that to this day I still kind of get upset when I go out with them. I'm like, you can't treat wait staff like that. I mean, I don't care what you think you are or who they are, but like everyone's a person. They need to be treated as such. So anyways, so we so I grew up in that world, and that was kind of our routine of going to the restaurant, and we had that until I was in grade 9 or 10 of high school. Right.
Grew up in this very entrepreneurial type world. My dad was very entrepreneurial focused. He was a truck driver before he owned the restaurant, and he used to tell me about how like he would read the tax act when he was sitting in his truck stuck somewhere overnight because he was trying to find his loopholes and the tricks that he could use to avoid extra money and all this stuff. So kind of grew up in that world, and I knew eventually I wanted to own my own business.
I was gonna say, don't tell anyone why we work with you. That's
no, I very much
we haven't done anything like that of the sorts. It's all by the book.
Yeah. Where did I stay within them?
Yeah. What was that? FRTRS or what is it? What did I ask you? The IFRS, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Financial statements.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
shows how much I learned in my MBA, right? Anyways, yeah.
Well, I mean, Canada's kind of cool because there is a lot of gray areas that, like, if you can rationalize why you're doing what you're doing, it can kind of, you can get away with it. Whereas in the US, it's very black and white. Either you can do it or you can go to jail. Like, there's no real gray area the way there is here. So, I mean,
I didn't even know that. So I don't want to know that, actually. Let's do it all by the book. I don't want even gray area. Let's just keep it in the, I don't know what's better, the black or the white side, but let's keep it on the plus side, the positive side.
It's things like when you're doing advertising. So like me enhancing the red color in my hair, well, I have redhead in my name, so it's an advertising expense. So it's things like that, right?
Yeah, okay. I mean, can't that be justified by any business?
Well, that's the thing. You can justify it because it's.
I mean, isn't that part of like what if I wanted to have
backpackers?
Yeah, sorry, what's that?
Backpacks.
Well, I was gonna say, what if I own a McDonald's franchise and I wanted to dye my hair and dress up like Ronald McDonald, right? That could be advertising, right? Then I could be, that's my redhead.
I mean, if you want to dress up like Ronald McDonald,
well, if I own a McDonald's franchise, right? And I wanna stand out there with the sign, make sure people come on in. I'm sure they don't need to advertise it that way for a McDonald's. It's like the pizza, it's like, what is it, Little Caesars? The kid stands there flipping the signs. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so he's reading the tax act. He opens a restaurant. So obviously very, in tune, trying to figure out what he wanted to do, right?
Yeah. And he was always kind of a step ahead. So like stuff like it was a Casey's, so they all had to look very similar.
Okay.
But my dad was always pushing more booths in a restaurant. And
right.
the head office was always like, no, tables. And now you go into a restaurant and there's way more booths because those are the tables that get sat first.
Right.
He was always kind of like a step ahead. So I was grade 9 or grade 10 when they shut it down. And I really enjoyed growing up in that environment. My babysitter was also a server at the restaurant.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kind of like an extended family in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was kind of cool. And then when I left university, my first accounting job was working at an audit firm doing audits for nonprofit and co-op housing in Toronto.
Okay. Like Toronto Community Housing or?
Yeah, we did a lot of
CHC?
housing audits.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, so that was kind of my real intro into accounting. I quickly discovered that I hate doing audits.
Audits, right, yeah. We've talked about this, yeah. So I can't imagine even remotely even liking them. So yeah, I would be right along you in not appreciating them for sure.
Well, it's just, you're working 70 hours a week. You're doing all these presentations because you have to present to the board. And it's just that people don't help the auditor when they come on scene. They're kind of going, I don't want to give you this information because I've probably done something wrong. So
it's like a hindrance. Yeah. They're trying to hide something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just, I left there and I went to a software company and I was I was hired as their controller, but they weren't in great financial shape. And I ended up doing more like front desk receptionist type stuff. And I just couldn't see myself doing that long term.
Right.
So I kind of came home one day and was like, screw this, I quit. And I sent out probably 200, 300 emails to people that were listed in the Business Improvement Association in Liberty Village. I didn't have a name at that time. I just was like, I like bookkeeping. I like doing the day-to-day stuff as opposed to just seeing a client at the end of the year. And so I kind of sent out like this mass email and I got 6 or 7 clients within like 2 weeks. And then I had a couple of glasses of wine and the savvy redhead.
There you go. And Bob's your uncle kind of thing, right? Yeah. Awesome. So it was out of necessity. So that's kind of like the ultimate, entrepreneurial, like, fuck it. Pardon my French, it's Friday, but fuck it. I want to do this. I enjoy this, but I can't find work in that realm, if you will. And I'm going to make it because obviously there's a demand. That's like the old school, like just go knock on 100 doors and say, do you need your shoe shined, sir? Right? Like literally and get, 10 clients and now you're off to the races. I think a lot of businesses need to do that. Like a lot of people, I think it's interesting you mentioned that. A lot of startups, small businesses get so bogged down in the perfecting everything and doing all this stuff when it's like, you know what? Just go offer what your idea is to 10 or 200 people, see what they say.
Yeah,
exactly. Because if you got 0 response, your next email probably would have been, a resume to 200 jobs, right? Like you maybe would have to rethink it, but like if you got no response, that's validation that, hey, maybe what you thought was whatever, but you got a response, which you assumed you would have. And you right away, within a couple of weeks, you've got, 6 or 8 clients, right? That's amazing. I was just talking about like an MVP, but that's not even an MVP. That's like, minimal viable product, but you're not building a product. You're just saying you are the product. Your service is the product. And you're saying, hey, are you interested? Can I help you out? That's awesome. Congrats to that. I didn't know that story. I love it even more. I love you guys even more. Yeah. Yeah.
It's really cool in Toronto specifically because you have these business improvement associations. So every
Right.
little neighborhood, there's so many of these little unique neighborhoods. Like everyone knows Little Italy and the Danforth and all this
Right.
stuff.
The BIAs, right?
Yeah, but there's 60 of them, I think, in the Toronto downtown core alone.
Yeah.
Each one has 50 or 60 companies
Yeah.
that are businesses.
Yeah.
So I spent a couple days just kind of compiling all the emails. I don't think the Can Spam Act was in at the time. It would probably violate it if it was.
Right.
But yeah.
Don't say anything. Hey, this is live. We're not live, but recorded. But yeah, we won't tell anyone. It's funny. I've worked with a lot of BIAs. They're an interesting group of people for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're part of ours out here, and we've gotten a little bit of business off of it. So
yeah,
it works.
Cool. And so Savvy Redhead. How long ago was that? Like maybe
almost 7 years ago.
Almost 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And so tell us about the transition to the full prism, because that's actually been since I've known you. Even like that's within the past 12 months, I would think, right? Maybe even
last
6 months.
6 months. Yeah. So we so Brent was working with another company and was kind of trying to figure out his exit strategy. And then COVID happened, and I had all these clients trying to transition to, what do I do next? How do I take everything online?
Right.
And just trying to figure it all out. And so we were getting calls about, I'm used to getting the calls about the bookkeeping, and now all of a sudden it's, how do I set up a Shopify store? How do I, start advertising on social media because I no longer have foot traffic coming into my store,
right?
And all this stuff. And that's kind of where he shines. And so he knows the marketing and the sales side really well. He's grown in the last 2 weeks. I think our Instagram account, since he's kind of taken it over, has grown 67% or something.
Right, cool.
So he understands that world a lot better than I do.
Yeah. And we've talked about, so one of the things, just for the people out there, we've talked about, utilizing your services for our clients, right? So a lot of people that are coming through the Backers platform from a bookkeeping standpoint, and obviously with Brent and some of the marketing stuff, we haven't really fleshed out how that exactly would look, but definitely from the bookkeeping, I think you and I talked about that. So I mean, that's something where, we can now utilize your the growth of your business and the skills and capabilities you guys have for our clients. So that's pretty awesome. So you guys, so then you moved.
Yeah. So he was trying to
Calgary.
figure out strategy, and I was like, well, we could just pivot the Savvy Redhead to offer more services. And he's kind of going, well, I'm not dyeing my hair red. I'm not a redhead. This isn't going to work. And so that's how the name, the Full Prism Group, came up, because it kind of
the colors.
The full prism of services, right?
Right. No, I get that, but also the different colors.
Yeah, so red is our accounting, bookkeeping side of things, and then each color kind of represents a different piece of it, basically.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of the administrative and bookkeeping side of things, and then he does a lot of the marketing and sales. And then we also have some courses in sales and bookkeeping launching mid-October. That's going out, and then they're just kind of being finalized with their videographer right now. And then we do a lot of consulting stuff together to kind of figure out how all the different pieces work. But the whole idea is that we have a graphic designer who is amazing at what she does, and she does a lot of social media and stuff, but numbers are not her thing. She is a very creative person, but you put a balance sheet in front of her and she has no clue what it means.
Right.
So we work with her on the bookkeeping side, but then we have other clients. We have an accountant, for instance, who obviously knows how to do the accounting side, but has no idea how to get his name out there and do marketing and what to post on Instagram and all this stuff. So we help him with that. So we kind of figure out what the pain point is and go from there.
What was the girl that I met on the call that one time? Simran, yeah. She's more on the accounting side, right?
She's kind of like our operations.
Okay, yeah.
She's kind of like my right hand. She's actually gone back to school right now. She's she's doing a degree in women's studies at the University of Toronto.
Oh, nice. Shout out to Simran. There you go, women's studies. I have a family member that did a PhD in women's studies down in the States. And anyways, That's cool. So you guys are growing, expanding, move to Calgary. Is it going to snow? Is it going to rain? We don't know. Or whatever the, oh, did I just freeze?
Yeah. No,
yeah. So is it gonna snow? Is it gonna, no. Is it gonna rain? Is it gonna snow? We're in Calgary. Nobody knows. Something like that. Interesting. So things are good in Calgary.
Things are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a horse that we have part-time, which is really awesome.
A horse. Oh, okay. So yeah, you fell off it.
Yeah.
Like just last week, right? We went
a little faster than I was expecting. He's a big horse. He's 18.3 hands.
What does that mean? Is that how you measure a horse?
So you measure, it's a hand is like 4 inches.
How many hands?
Yeah, so they measure it in hands, and it's at like where the saddle sits.
Whose hand is 4 inches? What part of the head?
Sorry, every point is like 18.1 to 18.2 is 4 inches, basically.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
interesting. I've never heard of that. So everyone, if you're measuring the height of a horse, it's measured in hands.
It's hands.
Little midget heads, the little rider guys' heads. What are they? The jockey. It's measured in jockey heads. It's me in a nutshell. What is?
Basically, at the shoulders, like where the saddle is.
Totally mocking horse. Anyways, I'm kidding. That's cool. We learn something new every day. So your horse is big then, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So he's 6'2" at the shoulders.
So that's a lot of hands.
He's definitely the biggest horse that I've ever been on, and he's the biggest horse in the barn of like the 25. And like so in comparison, your average horse is like 16 hands, and that's like a 5'9" average person.
Right.
So
okay.
Like a basketball player of horses.
He's like the Shaq of horses. It's funny. Brought up Shaq in yesterday's call. We were talking about shoe sizes, and someone was saying that you can measure shoes. No, what was an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper was like the ideal foot measurement, except if you're Shaq. Because then he's like 2 sheets of paper, right?
Yeah.
Because he's size like 48. I don't know, 28, whatever his size he is. Anyways, interesting. Okay, cool. Well, Leslie, all the best. Good luck. Everyone check out Prism Group. Where can they find you? Where is that Instagram page that Brent is so diligently growing? What?
Thefullprismgroup.com.
Thefullprismgroup.com. Check it out on Instagram. Obviously, you can check out thefullprismgroup.com. Leslie, thank you again for joining me and all your efforts. Happy birthday. I'm going to end it with one last question I ask everyone. You've already heard it being asked because you saw Brent's video, and I'm sure you've seen other videos. One word, one piece of advice. Little Leslie, the little redhead that could, little red engine that could. What would that one word be? What would that one piece of advice you would give to a younger you? Go to Dalhousie? Don't say go to Dalhousie. No, go ahead. What would that one word be?
I would say just do it.
Yeah.
Like the Nike slogan, don't overthink it, just go for it. And if it doesn't work out, pivot.
Exactly. Yeah. Like do it and react fast and move fast, right? Pivot fast.
If this whole COVID situation has taught us anything, I think it's that you have to constantly be ready to change. And you never know where those changes could take you. So changes,
awesome.
Just do it.
Awesome. Just do it. Just do it. Leslie, happy birthday again. Enjoy. Have a shot on us and all the people here at Backers. Say hi to Brent for us. Thanks again for all your efforts. And we'll obviously talk lots and lots over the coming months and years. Everyone else, check them out, the Full Prism Group. Thank you again for joining me here on the Power. Sorry, I can't even think of what is it. Where are we? Powered by Backers. Awesome. Leslie, thank you very much again. See you.
See you later.
OMG, baby, tell them.